Hi, this is James Shug at Westpac London with the Inter-Market Day report for Monday the 12th of March. Very quiet day today really, no economic data of note released in the US or Europe. The main news over the weekend was the very disappointing Chinese trade data, which showed exports much softer than expected. And coming on top of other data recently, retail sales last week for example, that have been weaker, it's added to the sense that the Chinese economy really is coming off the boil, and that's put downward pressure on commodity prices, global growth expectations, and so on. So no data to report. We've got the EU finance ministers meeting in, the Euroland, that's a 17 Euro member finance ministers meeting in Brussels as I speak. They're expected to approve the Greek bailout. Last Friday, of course, they approved part of it. The rest of it's expected to get approval today. There should be some discussion perhaps of Spain's decision to lift its target for the budget deficit this year. There is some concern about that maybe an element of moral hazard has crept into Spanish thinking. Their bond yield is much lower because of what the ECB has been doing in terms of buying their bonds and lending money to the banks in exchange for collateral, which includes Spanish government bonds, which the banks then have to buy. That's lowered Spanish funding costs and made it a bit easier for them perhaps to fund a slightly bigger deficit. So that'll be discussed as well. But really that's it. We've got the Federal Reserve's interest rate decision tomorrow. That's something to look forward to. Perhaps markets are treading water a bit ahead of that. I've got to say, it's going to be a bit of a non-event, I think. We had Ben Bernanke less than 2 weeks ago give testimony to Congress, and it's unlikely that this one-day meeting with no Bernanke press conference after it will deliver anything particularly new. And in Australia tonight, it's housing finance figures, and our friends at the NAB will put out their business survey. That's about it in terms of events. So in terms of markets, we've got the London market up 0.1% at the close, the French market up 0.1% as well, the German's up almost a third of 1%. The Spanish market's down more than 1%, 1.25%, and the Italian's off 0.1%. And the Dow is currently up 0.2% at 12,944, just heading into the US lunchtime. In commodity markets, oil prices down 0.9%. We're looking at $106.40 a barrel. I mean, they're down pretty much across the board. We've got gold prices down 0.7%, $1,699 an ounce, and a 0.2% loss for copper prices at 385 cents a pound. And the Aussie dollar, it's at 1.048 against the US dollar. It's continued, it slid yesterday in Sydney trading, or last night in Sydney trading. It's continued to weaken throughout today's session and here in London. And the Chinese story is probably the main driver there. Okay, that's it from me. I'll be back I'll be back later tomorrow, of course, after the FOMC decision, which is 7 p.m. London, 2 p.m. New York time, or a bit after, and 7 p.m. London, which is 6 a.m. Sydney time. Okay, speak to you tomorrow.